how the reset program can help you conquer the 4 things that are making you fat and help you inspire you as to why you want to do it and why the program is put together so perfectly to help 4 things that have made you fat and are keeping you fat. So the reset program, you're going to learn a lot about the reset program. Some of you on the webinar already know about the 5-day reset program. The 5-day reset program is in which you replace 3 meals a day with USANA's Nutrimeal. And then you have some healthy, you have some also vitamins and minerals with USANA's Health Pack. We'll talk a little bit about that near the end, as well as some probiotics. That kind of gets rid of the carbohydrate cravings, that resets the whole problem that's been going on, and then be able to then move into a transform phase. Again, my goal right now is not to break down the details of this reset and transform and then maintain phase, but let me just say this. We have meal replacement drinks, delicious meal replacement drinks, chocolate, vanilla. There's also Nutrimeal free. You can put different flavorings in them, strawberry into the vanilla, strawberries, etc. You can spice them up however you want. But the point is, when you get on this program with a 5-day reset, then go into a transformed, so you go from 3 meals a day to replacing 2 meals a day through the 28 days, and then carry on to at least 1 meal a day. This can transform your life. It can maintain your life, not just in helping get what you want, which is to be thinner, to lose the fat, but a healthy life. Because the questions that people ask us, okay, look in the mirror one day, is like, how did I let this get this bad? I mean, just kind of like, okay, you need to lose weight, and pretty soon you're looking in the mirror, it's like, oh, it got a little worse than I thought. And then it's like, oh man, it's gone too far. How do I ever climb back? So whether you have this thought, or whether you're further along than you are, or maybe you just have maybe just about 10 pounds to get rid of, that's going to be easy to get off. But others might have 100 pounds or more to get off. But you know what? That is not insurmountable. You can do it. The USANA Reset program is set for that, because you need to understand the 4 things that are making and keeping you fat, and more importantly, the solutions to it. Because USANA's Reset program, the Nutrimeal program, is the solution if you see it in its entirety. It's not just the meal replacement drinks. It's the whole program. And that's the understanding of it. So we need to understand what happens to our food when we eat it. 1 or 2 things happen to our food when we eat the food. 1, it can be used as energy, or 2, it can be stored as fat. Those are the 2 main things that happen to our food. You decide what happens to it, and what we eat and what we do. Whatever does not get used as energy now gets stored as fat. If you can remember that every time you eat, is this going to help me turn into energy, or is it going to turn into fat? It's not just what you eat, it's how much you eat, and also what you exercising. How much stress are you under? Are you sleeping? Are you taking lots of vitamins and minerals? Good quality vitamins and minerals, because that helps you with your metabolism. So what are the 4 things that are keeping you fat, and how will the USANA Reset program help you overcome that? Number 1, food preservatives. They're needed to extend the shelf life, and that's what we have modern days, but they make the to digest. If the foods can't be digested, they can't be used for energy. And if the food's not used for energy, it's stored as fat. With less energy available, we don't have energy to run our body. And with less energy to run our body, our mind, our muscle, our heart, our liver, guess what? The food preservatives can cause gas and bloating, heartburn, slow metabolism. Guess what? Or fat, fatigue, sluggishness, brain fog, and even decreased sex drive. Know anybody that might be having any one of these, let alone multiple forms of these? Many times it's because you're not getting the nutrients from your food. You're not getting the right type of foods, let alone the high carbohydrate or high glycemic foods. It's the foods loaded with food preservatives. So what's the solution to food preservatives? And that, when we look at it, is digestive enzymes. USANA's digestive enzymes has a load of different digestive enzymes to help you break down the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats that are in the food. With that being, you're able to then reduce the gastric and bowel symptoms. You're able to help convert food that you're eating into energy instead of storing it as fat. And since there's an increased need for digestive enzymes with an increase of age. As you get older, there's less digestive enzymes being produced from your pancreas. When there's more, and when you're under more stress, not only are you eating more, you are also, and your cortisol levels are up, there's less production of digestive enzymes. And when there's more weight going on, there's a need for more digestive enzymes. So the fact that you're eating foods that have preservatives, you need that to break it down so that you have foods that you can then convert into energy rather than fat. If you don't have the digestive enzymes, I suggest you want to put this on your list of enzymes. Now, Nutrimeals, the replacement drinks, the Nutrimeals, don't have the food preservatives in them, so there's not going to be as big an issue with it. But still, you need to break down the foods, and if you're under stress, you have excessive weight, or the fact as you get older, you're producing less digestive enzymes, so it's still helpful to take at least one, if not two, digestive enzymes prior to having a Nutrimeal, and before meals, having at least 2 to 3 of these tablets prior to each meal to be able to help you to be able to, again, convert your food into energy so it doesn't get stored as fat. All right, number one problem that's making you fat, food preservatives. Solution, less processed foods and supplement with digestive enzymes, USANA digestive enzymes. Number two, what's the second thing that's making and keeping you fat? Bad gut bacteria. Yes, indeed, the bad gut bacteria. So let's look at that. There's a role of bacteria in the intestines, which is called the microbiome. All this bacteria that you have in the bowel. It actually goes from the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, all the way through to the rectum, but most of the bacteria is in the bowel. And it plays a good, important role. It breaks down undigested food, the carbohydrates particularly. It plays a role in absorption of vitamins, the B vitamins, helps with bile and stomach, and supporting the immune system, defense against the infection and bad bacteria. And it affects the brain neurotransmitters for thinking and mood. As a matter of fact, a lot of the production of serotonin for the mood enhancement is from the bowels, from the gut. Suffering from depression, anxiety, it could be a lot of times because of the bad ratio of bad bacteria to good bacteria. That's a problem. Also, the bacteria is affected by hormones, and so if you and there's hormones that affect where the food goes to and how it's metabolized. Is the fat going to be stored or is it going to be burned off? These hormones, the bowel, and there's affected by the bacteria. The action of how this is going to be metabolized. The disruption of the gut bacteria can happen because of many different reasons. Eating poorly. In other words, foods with a lot of sugar content, simple carbohydrates, chemicals in the foods, preservatives I've mentioned already, additives, pesticides, artificial sweeteners, toxic chemicals, antibiotics that's used in the food all the time. Also irritating and spicy foods and condiments, alcohol, that can really disrupt the gut bacteria. Parasites, tainted food, allergic reactions to food sometimes, even if you don't have celiac disease to gluten. Sometimes people have just sensitivities to different foods. Many times it's because the bacteria, it makes you more sensitive to. If you just had good bacteria, you would be less sensitive to foods, or a lack of vitamins and minerals, a lack of good quality vitamins and minerals, nutrient deficiency, cortisol level, poor general health, and then certain medications, particularly antibiotics, steroids, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like Tylenol, or particularly ibuprofen and others, antacids. All of these can disrupt your gut bacteria and make everything off kilter. How would you know if you have bad gut bacteria? Well, not just because you were, gaining weight, but what about nausea or vomiting, diarrhea, gas and bloating, cramping? A lot of people have this quite often, particularly women. Constipation, heartburn, gastric reflux, irritable bowel syndrome, lactose intolerance. How about food sensitivities I've mentioned? Drowsiness or fatigued after meals. Ever feel that? A lot of people do. Well, let's not stop there. Let's also find out depression and or anxiety, frequent illnesses, colds and flus, and forgetfulness, just foggy thinking, sluggish thinking, weight gain, and of course, the difficulty in losing excess body weight. All are signs and symptoms of bad gut bacteria. Well, a bad gut bacteria, one of the problems is it does cause an imbalance, and with an imbalance and overgrowth of bad bacteria, there's also can be yeast as well as bacteria. What I wanted to say, the sugars don't get correctly, and the signals for fat metabolism or storage are disrupted, as I said earlier. And so whatever's not converted to energy, what happens? Gets stored as fat. So what's the solution to bad gut bacteria? Well, you guessed it, probiotics. USANA's probiotic, taken daily, I suggest daily, provides two forms of probiotics that science has shown to be the most effective in reestablishing the good microbiome. Because these two forms of bacteria, the Lactobacillus rhamnosus and the Bifidobacterium BB12, they survive the harsh acidic stomach, environment of the stomach, and they're able to be stored at room temperature. They're hardy. They get through there. So these 12 billion colony-forming bacteria per serving are able to get through, and then they multiply once they're in the bowel. And once they multiply, they set up an environment to where the other bacteria, the good bacteria that's already in your bowel, are able to then multiply, and then the bad bacteria are kind of crowded out. This restores bowel health, helps with healthy digestion. It supports the immune system. It supports better your brain function and mood support. And it supports the conversion of energy rather than it being stored as fat. We knocked out 2 of the 4 things, and this is all part of the USANA research. Digestive enzymes, probiotics. Moving on. Third is probably the most important. The third one is overeating, especially sugar, simple carbs, high glycemic carbs. The solution to that we'll get to in a second, but before that, since I want to do a deep dive here and talk about the Nutrimeals particularly, I'm going to skip over and go to the 4th thing that's making you fat, and then come back and then go do a deep dive on the Nutrimeals and the overeating. So what's the 4th thing that's causing a slow metabolism? The slow metabolism is, why is your metabolism slow? Well, it could be because you have hypothyroidism. You might want to check that out. It could be because you're not exercising, kind of sitting on the couch. That's many times a problem. Just because, I don't feel like moving today. Did you know many times if you just get out and moving, you feel better and move some more? Just getting going or getting a partner, exercising, that solution to a slow metabolism, regular, moderate exercise, even 30 minutes a day, a 30-minute breath a day is helpful. You don't need to go exercising for 3 hours a day. That's crazy. And quality nutritional supplements. There's other issues with stress and lack of sleep. All these things in much deeper detail in my program, the Dr. P program, in it superficially, right here to get to this, to be able to, for this purpose of this webinar. So let's get into the eating, especially sugar. Taking too many calories in too short a time. We're just loading, packing it in. So what the body can't convert to energy, naturally it stores as fat. High glycemic foods, starchy foods is the big problem. Biggest issues, but eating too much of anything can be a problem, but particularly it's the carbohydrates. Even eating too many low glycemic carbs can be a problem. Really, the worst ones are eating too many of the high glycemic carbs, the high sugar ones. High glycemic foods spike the blood sugar levels and cause hyperglycemia, where you get more sugar in the blood vessels. And if you do that, that can happen transiently, and it kind of goes up and down. But if it happens consistently over and over again, you develop a insulin resistance and then type 2 diabetes, because you are, as you continue to spike up the blood sugar level, you're causing inflammation, oxidation of your insulin receptors. Oxidation of the insulin receptors is what is the foundation for insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Normal thing to happen for your insulin, the glucose that you just consumed, the food that you consumed, to be able to get into the cells, because your glucose is needed to be used, burned off as energy. So the glucose comes in and wants to get into your cells. The insulin is needed. It's like into the lock. The insulin connects to the insulin receptor and allows the glucose to get into the cell. Once the glucose is in the cell, it needs to get to the mitochondria. So once the glucose and the oxygen get together, they're burned and they're metabolized in the mitochondria. Cellular metabolism occurs and only occurs in this mitochondria of the cell. And each cell has the average cell has about 50 mitochondria per cell. Some cells that require more energy, more metabolism, like the liver, for example, and the brain, they have about 3,000 mitochondria per cell. Your heart that's beating all the time, it needs a lot of energy. So it needs a lot of glucose and oxygen, and it has 5,000 mitochondria per cell. So it's burning off a lot. And and part of what the mitochondria does, it produces the energy molecules ATP. And as a byproduct, carbon dioxide, which you breathe out. For this all to happen, for a metabolism to happen, it needs micronutrients, including coenzyme Q10, alpha-lipoic acid, just to name a few. So you can see a depletion of micronutrients such as coenzyme Q10, alpha-lipoic acid, and magnesium. You're going to feel sluggish. Why? Because you're not producing energy. Therefore, you're not going to be thinking, because your brain needs energy. With 3,000, 4,000 mitochondria per cell, you're going to start starving it of nutrients. You're not going to produce the energy. If you starve it of oxygen, you're not going to be thinking much at all. Starve it of glucose, you're going to faint. Starve it of micronutrients, sluggish. Starve your body of micronutrients, fat, because your metabolism slows down. I don't feel like getting off the couch. I don't want to walk today. I hurt. I don't want to move anything. I just want to eat some more pie. That's how you get fat. So excess sugar, the food, the glucose, that body that doesn't convert into energy because you don't have the metabolism going, gets stored as fat. So it's critical to decrease the amount of sugar or carbs that we eat, the simple carbohydrates, the high glycemic foods. USANA reset helps reduce the amount of calories eaten. Why? How? By focusing on a low glycemic diet. That alone will cause your body to reduce the cravings. You'll eat less calories because you're not hungry. And then with taking the supplements and with then exercising, you're going to then increase your metabolism. So let's look at the glycemic index. I mentioned that a few times. So in case you haven't known, there's a glycemic index ranges from 0 to 100. Low glycemic is anything from less than 45. Mid or glycemic is 45 to 70. High glycemic is anything 70 to 100. You want to so here's our food pyramid chart. You want to have very little of the high glycemic foods. Glycemic foods are your pie, cake, ice cream, potatoes, just those the Captain Crunch cereal, pancakes. Those are high glycemic foods. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. We want to focus most of our meals on the low glycemic foods. And USANA's Nutrimeals, the reset program, are the low glycemic foods. And then we're going to kick the carbohydrate cravings. That's how we're going to change our metabolism. That's how we're going to transform our bodies. what we're going to talk about is how it's not just going to be a 5-day and then you're done. It's not going to be a 28-day and hey, I lost 5 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, I lost 20 pounds. No, it's a lifestyle, because I'll tell you how to make it easy. The high glycemic food above 70, breads, flours, pretzels, crackers, bagels, donuts, soda pop candy, you can get grain cereal, even some supposed healthy high glycemic, Special K, high glycemic, instant oatmeal, high glycemic, pasta, baked potatoes, high glycemic, and of course, there's chips and, you can name it. Dried fruit, raisins, things like that, high glycemic. Well, anyway, because you eat a lot and a lot of dry food. Here's the point. High glycemic foods will make you fat. Eating a lot of them anyway will. Your blood sugar goes up, your blood down every day when you eat. In the morning, shows you the blood sugar of 70 versus 120. That's the normal range. You get up in the morning, you eat breakfast. Let's say you have a Captain Crunch cereal, a banana, orange juice, and some pancakes to throw on top of it. Your blood sugar shoots way above 120. Your insulin shoots up, spikes up, and then causes your blood sugar to go way down. You get hungry. So then you grab a Snicker bar or donut or maybe a milkshake, and your blood sugar goes spiking way up again, goes way up high again, and then you go on this roller coaster ride. All this time you're spiking your blood sugar, you're spiking your insulin levels, and what's happening? Boom, it's going to fat. Boom, it's going to fat because you're not burning it off as energy. And while it's going up and spiking up like this, also what's happening besides getting fat, you're also getting heart disease and diabetes because it's causing oxidation and inflammation. When you spike up your sugar levels and you spike up your insulin levels, not only are you getting fat, you're oxidizing your LDL cholesterol and oxidizing, inflaming your arterial lining. So here you go, get fat, get heart disease, get diabetes. What a wonderful combination. Don't you have a good reason to go on the USANA Reset program now? Why would you want to, do you have a death wish? I don't have a death wish, but you know what? It feels comfortable to eat pie. Very comfortable. It's nice to eat pie. But you know what? Pie's not going to keep you alive. Just have pie, but I'll tell you, eat pie. We'll get to when you can eat pie, but it's not now. Low glycemic chart. You want to keep your blood sugars even, not get them high, not get them too low. If you don't get them too high, no inflammation. Don't get too low, you don't get cravings. And you have food storage. USANA Nutrimeals and taken along with USANA supplements, you're able to keep, and exercise, you're able to keep your blood sugars even within that zone there. Not too high, it's kind of like the Goldilocks zone. Not too high, but just right. Low glycemic foods are relatively low carbohydrates other than other foods. In other words, there's a lot of fiber, relatively more, not more than carbohydrates, but there's more so than the high glycemic foods. So you feel full longer than with the higher glycemic foods. This is the point. The low to mid-glycemic food, glycemic index is less than 50. This the fiber makes a difference. These are foods with fiber. Fiber is the key. Now, whole grain breads have more fiber than white bread. Rolled oats, bananas, blueberries, and mangoes. Index I put there, the numbers on there. Index, steel cut oats, 45. USANA Nutrimeal, what's that glycemic index? You read that right, that's not a typo, 25. Even despite 17 grams of fructose, of sugar per serving, because of the amount of fiber, that glycemic index is 25. Fiber makes a difference in the world. Broccoli, which has very little bit of sugar in it, a lot of fiber, glycemic index down near 10. If you understood this concept and focus on low glycemic foods, you'd feel full longer, you'd be healthy, you wouldn't develop in type 2 diabetes, you wouldn't develop in the heart disease, at least rapidly, and you wouldn't get rid of that excessive fat. USANA's Nutrimeals, we have more flavors than this, but I'm just featuring a couple for the point here of the concept of why and how. A glycemic index of 25. I remember telling somebody about USANA's, this is a few years back, maybe 10 years ago, and I remember talking to her, and she looked at the USANA Nutrimeal, and she said, wow, 17 grams of sugar per serving in the Nutrimeal. Oh, and it's fructose. And ingredients, looking as being really looking down on it because, she's such a nutritional expert, and she just was so, I read every label, and I say healthy when I eat, and I would never have this because it has 17 grams. This is not healthy. USANA doesn't know what they're doing because they're putting too much sugar in their Nutrimeals, and I wouldn't have any of this. I said, let me ask you a question, I said. What kind of healthy snacks do you eat? She says, well, I would, an apple. Too bad, before I get that, this is what she was looking at. She got on her glasses and she looked at, just because I want to keep you up. She looked, and I'll get on my glasses here. She got on the glasses and she looked at this and she said, okay, there's some 240 calories. That's not bad. Okay, yes, it has the healthy fats in it because you need good foods require good fats. It has good, goodly amount of protein in it, 15 grams per serving. Okay, that's good. Now the carbohydrates, we have 32 grams of carbohydrates. Well, fiber is a carbohydrate, so you can't do that. So grams of fiber per serving, that's really, really good. Both soluble and insoluble fiber. You want both soluble and fiber. And that's when she said, oh my goodness, 17 grams of sugar, are you kidding me? And she said, this is not healthy. And that's when so you wouldn't have this even as a snack, healthy snack? And she said, no. And that's when I asked her, what kind of healthy snack do you normally eat? She goes, I usually have an apple. I said, too bad apples don't come with a nutrition label on it. She says, what are you talking about? I said, did you know that an apple has 17 to 18 grams of sugar in it? She said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah. You didn't read the label? She said, no. I said, yeah, and it's fructose. Said fructose. It's not good or bad. It's fructose in this fact that fructose in the USANA Nutrimeal. It's not good or bad. Fructose is not good or bad. It's just is. Fructose is a sugar. It's the sweetest of all the sugars. It's found in fruit. It's not the fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup has a common glucose and fructose. Sometimes 50-50, sometimes 90-10 ratio, but fructose is fructose, fruit sugar. The USANA Nutrimeal with a glycemic index of 25, when I said it had we looked at this again, breaking down, 17 to 18, depends on which flavor you have, 17 to 18 grams of sugar. And then the apple, we're going to look at the nutrition label in the apple. It has 17 of not just fructose, it also has glucose, and it has table sugar in it. Who table sugar in an apple? Oh my goodness, what an unhealthy snack an apple ever is. We should ban apples, right? Because, I would never have one. And look at this, the glycemic index is 40 on an apple. Isn't that crazy? People need to see, people have a little bit of information. They know that, I got to avoid sugar, but no, they don't have the understanding of what it's about. The ratio to sugar and what type of sugar. The USANA scientists know what type of sugar to use, the fructose. Why? Why with the fructose in the USANA Nutrimeals? Because fructose is not bad, but neither are sucrose and glucose. They're found naturally in fruits and vegetables. They are processed differently by the body. The glucose is readily taken up by the body. It's immediately used and it immediately satiates your hunger. Fructose is processed by the liver. It doesn't spike your insulin at all. It's utilized by the liver. It's stored in the liver. And then as you need sugar in your system, it's slowly converted into glucose. So that slows down the process, making it low glycemic in itself. Now, you can eat a lot of fructose and you can gain a lot of weight if you eat a lot, but it's low glycemic. Combine it with fiber, you're going to get full fast and you're less likely to eat a lot. So the problem with any sugar, no matter what it is, it's the amount consumed that's the problem. The sugar load, how much you have. And then, of course, there's the glycemic index. Combine the sugar load and the glycemic index, then you understand it. So stop overeating if you want to be healthy. Eat mostly low glycemic foods. In other words, look for the fiber in more fibrous foods. Portion control is the key. Eat less calories at one time. Meals spaced throughout the day with less fiber at night. Less food at night. Fiber first. This is what I was talking about. When do you eat your pie? If you have a choice of eating your broccoli or spinach or your pie first, eat your broccoli and spinach first and then your pie. Because if you eat your pie first and then your broccoli, there's less fiber in it, you're going to spike your sugar and your insulin, and then everything you eat after that is going to go more to fat. But if you have your foods that are fibers first, eat your spinach and broccoli first, or have your Nutrimeal first with more fiber, or better yet, take a fiber G shot. USANA has fiber G, which you get a load of fiber in it. And what you eat after that is going to lower the glycemic index and is going to spike your sugar after that. And then with less spiking of the sugar, feel full faster, get satiated, then it's going to less likely get converted into fat. So don't let yourself get too hungry. Don't stuff yourself. And then limit the amount of sugar added, like not too many pieces of pie or potatoes, things like that. Overeating, especially sugar. If you reduce your consumption by 500 calories per day, that's over 182,000 fewer a year. If you did that, it means 52 pounds of fat in 1 year. If you lost 52 pounds of fat in 1 year, how would you feel? Could you lose 52 pounds of fat in a year? You could do it in 6 months if you wanted to. But even if you just reduced, if that's all you did is reduce 500 calories per day, that's what the math would be. Or you could reverse that. If you want to gain 52 pounds of fat in a year, then just add to it 500 calories. Or you could exercise as well and make it go faster. Incorporating at least one Nutrimeal per day. Just one Nutrimeal meal replacement is the easiest and most delicious way to do it. Can you imagine this? If all you did was to have one Nutrimeal per day, you could reduce your consumption of calories by at least 500 calories per day. And if you did that in a year and that's all you did, you could potentially lose 52 pounds in a year, if you had that much to lose. Now, if you're normal weight, don't lose 52 pounds, please. But I'm just saying you could potentially lose that much. That's theoretically. Just one Nutrimeal a day. Now, what if you replaced two Nutrimeals, 2 meal replacements? What if you replaced 2 meals per day with USANA's Nutrimeal and had healthy snacks in between and exercise and increase your metabolism with USANA's vitamins and minerals, assisted it with that, or supported your metabolism with that? Wow. Start to transform your body. And to jumpstart it all, what if you replaced 3 meals per day with USANA's Nutrimeal in a 5-day jump start at the beginning of the year? Wow. You're off to a 2020 like nobody's business. So of the 4 things that are making you fat, we talked about the solutions to it. Food preservatives, less processed foods, digestive enzymes, gut bacteria, probiotics. Overeating, solution, low glycemic foods, less food consumption, incorporate USANA's Nutrimeals in it. Slow metabolism, regular exercise, and quality nutritional supplements. Slow metabolism, solution to supplements, the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, fatty acids work synergistically to support your metabolism, to increase the slug metabolism, it's needed to convert the sugar into energy so it doesn't help it less likely to get stored as fat, less fat accumulation, and help it to burn accumulated fat and healthy blood sugar levels. And support health, support blood sugar health. the USANA Health Pack, you'll want to order that along with your Nutrimeals, because the USANA Health Pack gives you the essentials, the vitamins, the antioxidants, the core minerals. So you take two of each twice daily. They're already in the Health Pack packet. Extra calcium, magnesium, because remember, the magnesium is needed for the metabolism, and you need that also to help. Also, the grapeseed extract and the Cell Essentials booster in it, which is a very powerful antioxidant, that inflammation, and to help reduce oxidation. Incredible supplements there. It's truly a value. You think it's costly? No, what's costly is not being well. What's costly is your heart giving out, your sugar levels going through the roof. What's costly is carrying around that extra weight and not being able to clothes. That's costly. This is health. Transform, reset, transform, and maintain. 2020, you're here. Started off with a reset. 5 days of 3 meal replacement drinks, healthy snacks in between. As health pack, the vitamins, minerals packet, AM and PM packet, and the probiotics and digestive enzymes. And then the next phase after those 5 days, at least 2 meals after that, and then you get the packets. Choose your flavors, whatever. You get to order it, you get it started off, and boy, what support you get with these leaders. Patty, I kick it over to you, and we can tell you. Oh, and check out the Dr. Ladd VIP program. I have a lot more information on there, a lot more support there for you. Take a deeper dive subjects, but this was just the 20,000 foot view of it all. So.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I do want to allow you to tell anyone who's interested in the Dr. Ladd VIP program a little bit more about that before we move back to the Reset 2020 challenge that we're putting together. So go ahead and give us, I use this every day, Dr. Ladd. I use the Dr. Ladd VIP site every day, plus the Facebook private group, and the questions that I have answered there. So go ahead and let us know what you have for us tonight on that.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, if you kind of like the webinar that I give, and in the VIP program, which is the subscription-based website program, I do have a lot of videos on there, more depth on the 4 things that are keeping you fat. I also have videos on supplements and health conditions, videos on many sleep, stress, and other communication relationships. I have articles on health issues and supplements and how supplements can be used, and it's all generic, how supplements can be used to help support your health if you're dealing with certain health situations. I have supplement protocols, what supplements you would use, to support your health given a certain condition. Again, it's generic. You can apply your preferred supplements to that. And then, so there's different aspects of it. And then I have a private Facebook group that goes along with it too, in which I'm in there all the time answering. People can get in there and find out a little bit more about that. I do have a one now. Again, there's different modules. Oh, the power of nutritional supplements. Mentioned a few things. These are all videos. I supplement, quality supplement, heart disease and supplements, diabetes and supplements, and then the videos you get on there. You can share links, share these videos with your customers. Then there's articles and protocols on chronic disorders. There's many different disorders there. Read about and share the links with your customers. Like, for example, autoimmune diseases. There's an article, the long article talks about autoimmune diseases. What about it? The whole point of it is about how nutritional supplements play into that. And then I give some suggestions on different levels of protocol supplements might want to use. Again, it all being generic. And then the Facebook group is in there. Come in the Facebook group, and then I interact with people, ask questions, I answer them. People can search out. Since it's almost 3 years? It's going on almost 3 years where there's People have asked questions and they can search up prior replies there. So the price for it, if people want to get it, an annual subscription is normally $199 US per year, and then a lifetime subscription is membership is $489. And then today, going on now, there's a holiday special, which is a 30% discount on the annual membership. If you put in the coupon code HOLIDAYS with an S, HOLIDAYS, use all capital letters, that brings the cost to $130 US, averages just a little over $11, a little over $11 per month. You have all access to all that. That helps you, it helps your customers, it helps, you can send links to articles or situations to your customers. So we've talked about how it's helped them to acquire more customers and get the customers to use the products, stay on. And if you want to do the lifetime, then you get a 10% discount on that using the coupon USANA Life, all in capital letters. That makes $140.10 US dollars. So if you want to get that, that's available. So like you said, Patty, I mean, it's hard for me to sell that myself, but I create it. I create it, and then if people like it, great.
Well, and here's actually what I do. I'm assuming that everyone does the same, but all my clients, whether they are talking to me about business or talking to me about product, and they are going to end up needing to buy the right products for whether it's for their customer, if they're a customer, whether it's for them as a business partner, they're coming in with product. And so to get the right products, we're always looking at what's going on in their health, what's going on in their body. And it's a time where USANA is totally a customized program. We personalize our health packs, we personalize our lifestyle. And so it's very, it leads directly to your protocols. It leads directly so that I can send out to each client, here's what an expert has to say about some of the things you're going through. And in this world with the toxins, we have somebody that we are bringing on board. They're going through it. That's all there is to it. There's too many toxins and too many chemicals for the people to just easily be healthy. So they're working hard to be healthy. And so this is where USANA comes in, is where you and your work has supported us and has come in. So
and there's one thing I want to thank you, Patty, for saying that. I do want to say, if people want to look at that link at the very bottom left, it says drladvip.com/testimonials. Other VIP members have told them how it's helped them out. So
absolutely.
all right,
so let's go back